Hey there, new CMCers. My name is Rollolazo, and I'm the Assistant Dean of Students for Academic Success. Firstly, I just wanted to thank you for watching this video so that you can orient yourselves to some of the resources that exist at CMC. I'll be zooming around, connecting you to some fantastic faculty and staff that are in the Academic Success Unit in DOS, in the Center for Writing and Public Discourse, and in the Murty, Sunak Quantitative and Computing Lab. And then we'll have student consultants and mentors share a bit about their experiences, especially during their first years at CMC. And then also talking through the writing assignment that's due on August 12th. But before we move forward, I do want to say that this video is quite long, like at least 50 TikToks long. So take breaks if you need to, because what we really think is important is for you to connect faces to names and then names to resources, because you'll be utilizing them throughout your time at CMC. Pause, come back if you need to, like I said, stretch, and take notes, please. We'll bring in our first team now. Hi, everyone.
Hey, Sean.
Hi, Sean.
How are
Hey,
y'all
Kari.
doing?
Great.
Doing great.
Good to see you.
Awesome, awesome. If you could introduce yourselves, that'd be appreciated.
Sure. So, hey, everybody. My name is Kari Rood. I am the Assistant Dean of Students for Disability Services and Academic Success. I am in my 7th year at CMC, though I'm originally from Arizona. Earlier in my time at CMC, I also used to work in student activities and orientation, and I have now been in our success unit for about 3 years.
Hi, everyone. I'm Layden, Senior Associate Dean for Student Success at CMC. I have been at CMC for 3 years. I am originally from New York, so an East Coaster. So hi to all my incoming students who are from that region. It's my other favorite coast, and I love being in Southern California and at CMC.
Awesome, and thanks again for joining us. I'm excited for these incoming students to meet both of you gems. Sue, I have a question for you. What would you say are 3 important things for incoming students to know about academic success?
Great question, Sean. So when I think about the 3 things I'd like y'all to know, the first thing would be, when in doubt, start with us. And so if you have questions about anything related to your success at CMC, you know, a good first place to start would be with the academic success team in the DOS, because if it isn't us directly that can help you with whatever it is that you have a question about, we are going to know who it is, where you need to go, or what you need to do, and we will connect you right away. The second thing that I would share is that our approach to thinking about success is really a holistic one. So we are very much of the mind that your academic well-being, your success is also dependent upon your personal well-being, and that these 2 things are connected and they work together. So we will work with you to unpack, like, what is it that you want to do around your academic success, and how does that connect to the other goals that you have around your personal well-being, and how do these things intersect. So if you're struggling academically, perhaps, or you want to, you know, perform better academically, then how does that connect to maybe some of the other things that are going on in your life? The third thing, and for me, it's perhaps the most important of the 3, is that we're here for the duration. So one of the beauties of going to a small liberal arts college is that you get to get these personal mentors in your life that will really help you throughout your experience. So over the 4 years, we're hoping that you're going to work with us from the beginning and your transition in, and how we support first-year students, your sophomore, junior year, all of the different experiences and opportunities that you have. We're here to help you. And your senior year, when you're working on thesis, or you're preparing your statements because you're applying for fellowships or scholarships, or you're really just weighing those choices about what it is that you're going to do next after CMC, we are here to help you with that. And we are really looking forward to being those mentors, both while you're here and for the rest of your lives.
I love all of that. And I think particularly about what you mentioned when it comes to some of the goals that they might have, or like the milestones that they want to achieve, especially when they're seniors. But obviously there's like a lot of years before that, and a lot of experiences that will be really formative. And in that will be goals that they might set for themselves. So Kari, I have a question for you. How do you think that goals and goal setting, et cetera, interact with academic success?
Absolutely. So I think goals and student success is practically synonymous. They're very much intertwined. Goals can act as motivators and important stepping stones when it comes to pursuing success. And success is defined differently by each person, and therefore goals are different for every individual. So setting small, achievable goals can help you stay on track towards a larger or a long-term goal. They can also help keep you accountable throughout that process. So for example, if you are seeking to live a healthier lifestyle, that may be a big goal that's difficult to define. However, if you set smaller goals, such as the number of hours you want to sleep each night, time spent outside, or the amount of water you want to drink in a day, and you track that over time, then your smaller goals build up into a habit that helps you achieve something even larger. So our academic success unit is here to help you identify, track, and achieve your goals in a multitude of ways. We also have a variety of resources that can help you on your way.
Awesome. Thank you. And that's kind of a perfect segue, almost like we pre-planned it for the academic planner. So all incoming students will receive one, and we'll talk about that in the next coming weeks. Success consultants will actually go through a video, almost like a walkthrough, providing tips. But beyond just kind of being your typical calendar type planner, where there's, you know, month-long spreads. And okay, so truth is, this is a virtual background. You definitely noticed that before. I don't live in this opulent apartment. My apartment has more humility than opulence. But there's month-long spreads that include a lot of tips around life skills, well-being, etc., and then also weekly planners. So essentially walking through, it's almost like we're there walking with you every day in kind of forming your CMC experience. Awesome. Anything else to add before we head out?
We are excited to meet all of you new students.
Yeah, can't wait to meet you all.
Okay, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Sean.
All right, take care.
Thanks, Sean. See you later.
See ya. So I'm here with the folks of the Center for Writing and Public Discourse, more popularly referred to as the CWPD. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hi, good to see you all. And if everyone could introduce themselves, that'd be great.
Yeah, so I'm Chrissy Crockett. I'm the director of the Center for Writing and Public Discourse, and the center has been open for 10 years, and I've worked here for 10 years. But fun fact about me, I'm actually an alumnus of CMC, and so I've been at CMC much longer. Ask me sometime how long I've been here, and I'll tell you.
Hi everyone, I'm Megan Gallagher. I'm the assistant director at the CWPD, and I've been at CMC for 4 years now. And my fun fact is that my cat will probably be my unofficial 13th member of my class.
Hi everybody, my name is Mellissa Martinez, and I'm the assistant director of multilingual writing, which means that I work predominantly with the international students. Probably many of you Zoomed with me yesterday. So let's see, fun fact about me would be that I also have a son in college like you. So while I'm teaching and doing everything from here, he'll be in the other room taking his classes online too. So.
Hi, I'm Chloe Martinez. I'm program coordinator for CWPD, and I also teach courses in religious studies and FHS. And I may be teaching a lot of those courses this semester from my windy backyard.
It looks great. Thanks, Chloe. Thanks, everyone. Chrissy, we'll start with you. So you've mentioned that the CWPD is about 10 years old. Can you tell us more about it?
Yeah, it's almost as old as our acronym is long, isn't it?
Yeah, honestly.
So yes, we've been the CWPD for about a decade now, and I'd say that a driving philosophy of the center is the idea that we are all writers, and that the Center for Writing and Public Discourse is the place for writers and creative folk at CMC. And so maybe some things for you to think about before you get here are some of the following. Be prepared to experience some writing culture shock. The writing that you produce in an academic context at a college is going to be different than what you've experienced thus far. Be prepared for writing to matter in all of your disciplines. You're going to be doing a lot of writing. And be prepared to ask your profs about their expectations for writing in their disciplines. Those expectations might shift a little bit. Some of the foundational ideas about good writing, are true for all disciplines, but there are some small differences across disciplines. And then I'd ask you to really think carefully about how community matters to writers. And, you know, you're all writers. And this is especially true, I think, while we're writing from a distance. And so the center is a place where you can find community and be productive as writers and as thinkers and as creatives. So go there virtually as often as you can. I mean, Sean, can I keep telling them about something I really love?
Keep going.
Okay.
The favorite.
Okay, good.
Share it,
Okay, so
share it.
my favorite thing that I wanted to share with you all is something that's just available for first-year students at CMC. And I know of no other program like this, certainly not in the US. It's called the Apple Fellowship for first-year students. And it is this really unique program that's just for you. It's basically a choose your own adventure plus writing attached to it. You can travel the world and produce a writing project and come back to CMC and then share that with our community. Think of it as writing as a kind of engine that powers your summer experience. So I'd love to say more, but just check out our Insta feed, check out our website to find out more, and then get in touch with me if you have questions about it.
Yeah.
So I really would like my colleagues to talk about some of the other stuff the center does, like tutoring, you know, strategies for working with your faculty members and programming. So let me hand things off.
Awesome. Yeah, and Megan, do you mind expanding on some of the tutoring and support that CWPD offer or will offer, especially considering the semester that's virtual ahead of us?
Sure, that's a great question. We're actually really well equipped to offer the same quality support that we would if we were on campus and meeting face to face. The thing that's a little different is we've extended our hours this semester. So students would log into our website and make their appointments. And then at the time of their appointment, they would log back in and they can Zoom through the Writing Center website with other students, with a tutor, and they can get feedback synchronously. Our times are going to be from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. this semester, Monday through Thursday. That way, hopefully we can catch everyone in whatever time zone they're in. If you're a multilingual student, that same website, get a different menu, gets you over to Mellissa or Chloe or my schedule, and you can set up an appointment with us to do an asynchronous session for your writing as well.
That's awesome. I love how accessible that is for any student who might need writing support, especially when there's so many other barriers of seeking support that students might encounter. Mellissa, as we've worked together, you've mentioned that it's common for students to encounter like some hesitancy when communicating with faculty or staff at the college. What support or advice would you give incoming students?
Well, I mean, I think specifically, you know, there's hesitancy. I mean, everybody starts new and has fear about, do I go talk to my professor? Do I email? How do I communicate? And I think, you know, what I discovered a couple of years into working on campus was that students weren't sure how to email their professors, or even faculty members would reach out to me and say, look at this email I got. It seems really like unclear or pushy even. So I developed some strategies for students to help them sort of just to make it easier to reach out to your professors via email. And I think that's going to be one of the most important skills this semester, because you have to keep in mind that this is how your faculty members will be communicating to you, and largely how you'll be communicating with them. So the first thing, the most important thing I can tell you is do not forget to check your email throughout the day. This is how people will be communicating to you, not only faculty members, but also staff members, awards, things that you'll be looking for. So please check throughout the day. Also, you know, your Sakai or any other form of electronic communication, because you do not want to be the student saying to your teacher, oh, I didn't get that email. So check, check, check. The second thing, which might seem obvious, but actually isn't that obvious because this happens a lot, is sort of the basic protocol or etiquette for emailing. Don't use text language, no slang. Don't begin your text or your email with hey, exclamation mark. Proofread for typos and grammatical errors. And give your professors at least a day to write back. Keep in mind they've got a lot of people reaching out to them, and so they have to sort of, you know, get everything back, and it takes some time sometimes. And also, one question that's often asked to me, so I'll go ahead and answer it now, is how do you address your professors? So my advice is always start emails with professor, last name, unless, you know, your teacher asks you to call him or her by their first name. So that's also, you know, that's what I would say standard go-to is professor. The third thing I want to let you know is that there's a resource for you in the back of your planner and also on the CWPD website. And it's some sort of steps that I've laid out, like a template for you to write a succinct email, which kind of gets you what you want. So I really recommend that you go to that resource when you're writing faculty members. It will show you how to clearly greet, identify yourself, state the reason for your email, offer a possible schedule or solution, and then sign off. So I really recommend that you utilize that resource. I think students have had a lot of success, and I've had faculty members come up to me and say, wow, I really see an improvement in this person's online communication. So I look forward to receiving a lot of perfect emails from all of you in the fall.
Yes, and I've seen that template be incredibly helpful. I mean, some students are like, do I put like the frowning emoji? And I'm like, probably not an emoji, unless they send you an emoji first. Anyway, and then Chloe, what can incoming students expect when it comes to events in the city of CWPD for this semester?
Sure. For the fall, you're probably going to see speakers coming into your classes and having virtual classroom visits more than the large Ath talks that we usually see. But as soon as we're back together, we'll be hosting speakers at the Athenaeum, and I hope that you'll come and see them. At CWPD, we try to bring writers to campus so that you can understand that the texts you're reading in your classes are not static things, and they're also not things that were created perfect out of thin air, right? Writing is a process. Just as you're revising, all the authors you've read have gone through a great process of thinking, revising, life experience, engaging with the real world to get to where they are. And so we want you to get to meet speakers and meet writers and have that opportunity to understand their process, their experience, how their work relates to the larger world. One speaker we had last year who was great was the poet Jericho Brown, who came and gave amazing readings and events on campus and went on to win the Pulitzer Prize. So we're hoping to bring many more amazing poets, novelists, memoirists, and science writers. All kinds of writers will be coming to campus through CWPD.
I love all of that. Well, thanks to you all. Are there any final thoughts that you'd like to share?
Visit us virtually. Come see us and really find your place at the CWPD.
Well, take care, everyone. It was good to see you.
You too,
all together.
Take care.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Hello. It's good to see you both.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. So we're here joined by the folks of the Murty Sunak Quantitative and Computing Lab, more popularly referred to as the QCL, because there's a lot of syllables in the first version, and we love acronyms here at CMC, as you probably noticed. If you two would want to introduce yourselves, that'd be great.
All right, thank you. I'll go first. Hi, my name is Jeho. I'm the founding director of the QCL at CMC. I've been working for CMC about over 2 years now. This is my 3rd year, and I've worked for Harvey Med College before I came to the CMC for about 10 years. So I'm a long-time resident of the Claremont. I originally came from South Korea, which you probably heard that name through a famous K-pop group, BTS.
And hi, I'm Dr. Bhaven Mistry. I'm the assistant director of the QCL. I've only been at CMC for 1 year now. And prior to this, I designed a course that basically combined creative writing with mathematics. And so students would learn some mathematical topic in class, and then they'd go home and they'd write a creative writing chapter on an ongoing saga of a time-traveling detective who would solve problems around time with mathematics. And so it worked out pretty well, and I hope to teach that again at CMC sometime.
Awesome. And again, thanks to you two for both being here. Dr. Park, I have a question for you. So you mentioned you founded the QCL 2 years ago. I know that there's 3 main services or areas about the QCL. Do you mind sharing with us some of that?
Sure, thank you for asking. The QCL is founded with a vision to become the campus hub for the students and faculty on their need for any support on mathematics, statistics, computation, and programming, and so on, for the quantitative topics. So to realize that vision, we have 3 services: 1, mentoring; 2, training; and 3, the consulting. I will introduce the first 2 services that we offer for the students. For mentoring part, we offer one-on-one and small group sessions, mentoring sessions, through the appointments. So, and then we also offer walk-ins so that the students can come visit the QCL without any appointments. What you see on my background is one of the sessions of the walk-ins. For this semester, unfortunately, we cannot meet in person, so we offer the office hours for you to come meet with our mentors anytime. And for the training part, we offer training workshops on the skills, computing skills. For example, Excel, Python, R, LaTeX, MATLAB. For those tool-based, skills-based workshops, and you will be able to develop those skills throughout your college years.
Yeah, and I've definitely seen in working with my students how those the mentoring and training workshops specifically have really helped them out, particularly within their first couple of years at CMC. And Dr. Mistry, we hear a lot that CMC is really valuing the skills that the QCL can equip our students with, especially when considering the future of our society. But I think that some students might have a little anxiety when it comes to working in those areas. How do you think that the QCL is equipped to help these students?
That's a great question. Yeah, so CMC, of course, is concerned about making sure that students leave CMC with the quantitative skills that will help them in industry. But the problem is, as you mentioned, there's a lot of students that have anxiety with mathematics. And so what they'll often do is they'll create a dichotomy where they would think about math people and non-math people and lump themselves together with non-math people. And we want to break that. We want to make everyone math people, essentially. And so to do so, we hire our mentors to not just be good at quantitative skills, but also good leaders. And so the entire program is not just an employment opportunity for them, but it's also a training opportunity for them to become better leaders, to become better teachers, and better mentors. And so we teach them how to teach better and also how to give encouragement to their student tutees. And so that students will actually leave the QCL with more quantitative confidence. And so that when they are in industry and someone has a problem that needs to be solved, that is a math problem, they'll raise their hand and say, I could solve that problem.
That's awesome, and makes me a little jealous that our students get the QCL when I could have used that when I was in college a few years back. So yeah, I definitely think that brings some reassurance to some students who definitely feel that way. And before I head out to chat with our success consultants, our CWPD consultants and QCL mentors in a second, do you all have any final words?
Yes, I have just one final thought with 2 words: plan ahead.
Yeah,
So please give 1 or 2 weeks lead time to meet with our mentors one-on-one or the small group meetings.
And I'd like to also add that the QCL is always trying to change things to make things better for the students and make it more conducive for learning. So if you have any suggestions, please let us know, because we're always listening.
Awesome. Well, thanks again to you both.
All right, thank you.
And of course, I know it's cliche, but we saved the best for last. We have a few peer consultants and mentors from DOS, CWPD, and the QCL. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
It's good to see you. If we could get started with introductions, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, for sure. I can start us off. So my name's Dini. I'm a rising junior at CMC this year, studying economics and philosophy. I'm currently based back home in Bangkok, Thailand. It's a little bit away from Claremont, and I'm a success consultant. So I'm here to kind of represent us. And I think if I had to describe my first year experience at CMC in one word, I'd probably put it as unforgettable, to say the least.
Thanks.
Hey everyone, I'm Ben. I am a rising senior, and my major is applied mathematics, and I'm doing a sequence in financial economics. I am a QCL mentor, and my hometown where I currently am is in Oakland, California.
Hi guys, I'm Chandler. I'm also a rising senior. My majors, I am a dual in literature and history, and I am a head consultant at the Center for Writing and Public Discourse, which I know you just heard from. And I'm currently in the ever so humid Raleigh, North Carolina. And if I had to sum up my first year, I would say exhilarating.
Awesome. Well, thanks to you all for sharing that. Dini, I wanted to start with you. So you're a success consultant, right? And you've met with a lot of students on an individual basis during your year as a success consultant. And particularly you work with students with varying confidence levels. So I have two questions. I'll start with the first one. What advice would you give students who already feel like they have a solid grasp on their first year at CMC? So they're the ones who have attended all the sessions, talked to all the current students, maybe even alumni. Yeah, they feel really confident going in. What would you tell them?
Yeah, I think coming in with that sense of confidence is fantastic. I think it's honestly, it's a great fuel to kind of get you started and keep you going. But I think the one thing I would say is just, you never really run out of places or people who are kind of just there for support at CMC. Like, I'm learning about new resources even now as a junior, and I feel like a lot of them pop up in places that you don't realize that you might need help with. So I think it's just a matter of like not being scared by the fact that like there will be times that you need help almost. I'd say as success consultants, we work with, as you said, you know, the whole range of students, and it's never, you know, students that are in one position at any one time. So you could be the student that came in really confident, but then you just wanted to like talk through a really busy midterm week, or you're interested in like 5 different clubs and like you really need to talk through like which one to choose and how to balance your lifestyle. So we're kind of here for all the in between. I would just say that remembering that resources like success consultants and everyone else who's here today are always just here for you to maintain your feeling of confidence and to feel like you can always thrive at CMC, rather than just when you feel like you're behind or when you feel like you've lost that sense of confidence. That's kind of how I put it, I think.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So thank you. And the second question I have is kind of the converse of that. So what advice would you give to a student who feels less confident? You know, they feel like the threshold of them entering CMC is a little bit higher for them, and maybe one of the biggest challenges that they've had. What would you tell them?
Yeah, I feel like that's like talking back to my first year self coming in. I came in from like halfway across the world, having been to the same school for the past 12 years. So less confident, definitely, to say the least. I think it's kind of a dream in a sense to go through 4 years of college, never feeling any kind of, you know, imposter syndrome or feeling less confident and being kind of on your A game all the time. But it's also just very natural and normal to feel that. I think the only way in which you can feel like you've progressed in your time in college is to go through those waves. So I think just remembering that the success consultants, for example, were here and supposed to be kind of peers of yours to help your transition and to help you throughout your academic, lifestyle, well-being journey in whatever way that may come. So just as long as we can be here as like a little bit of a boost when you have those moments of less confidence, and if that's when you come in, sure, like we're going to help you out with that. I think we're just very intentional about making sure that you measure your success against yourself and no one else, really. And that kind of becomes something that you learn more naturally as you go through college. But we're just people that I think have done a little bit of that already. So we're here to help you with it too.
Yeah, I feel like you're speaking to my first year college student as well,
yeah.
To me in my experience. Ben, as a QCL mentor, you've continually helped students overcome academic challenges. And potentially that's also, those academic challenges have bled into personal challenges as well, as Dini mentioned. So for you, I would love if you could share a challenge that you faced during your first year at CMC. How did you overcome it?
Sure thing, Sean. So coming into CMC, I immediately noticed that a lot of the classes, they ask very different questions. Specifically regarding to like econ and math classes, the type of questions that you do for homework they require different levels of thinking. So, you know, in high school, at least in my experience, I noticed that a lot of times the homework and the exams were very much just kind of applying what the teacher told you already in class. Whereas opposed to I found in college, a lot of times they expect you to listen to lectures and learn from the, you know, the notes in the textbook and whatever, but then they expect you to take that extra step on your own. So, you know, do that next step on your own without telling you how to do it. So that process was a little intimidating for me at first, and I found myself doubting whether or not I was good enough to do it, or and oftentimes I needed help, which initially I didn't want to ask for because I thought it was a sign of weakness that I needed to go and ask for help from someone else. When in fact at CMC and really in anywhere, that's quite the opposite. You'll never be faulted at CMC or really in any other walk of life for asking for help. And it's really important to ask for that help. People want to help you. You'll build relationships by asking for help, as well as you'll build confidence in your own ability. And the key takeaway from that is, you know, people aren't going to fault you for asking help. They will fault you for not preparing and and then not asking for that help and doing poorly later. So it's kind of on you to go ahead and ask early, ask often, and reach out to people, as they'll be not only expecting you to, but be happy when you do that.
Thanks for sharing that, Ben. I think a lot of students kind of feel like that help-seeking behavior, and even what you mentioned, Dini, might be a sign of weakness, when in reality it's a strength. So I appreciate you sharing that from your life as well. So Chandler, I think actually what Ben said really connects well to the writing assignment for the incoming students that's due on Wednesday, August 12th. The students should already be familiar with the Axes model, whether from their experience in high school or from other writing endeavors. But we've given them the PDF for them to review to familiarize themselves with it. Could you take a few minutes to actually bring the Axes model to life?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm pulling up my handy dandy student planner.
Love it.
You will all be receiving a copy of, and I'm turning to its version of the Axes model. So I like to think about writing as kind of building blocks, and the Axes model is a part of that. You are building a paragraph using the model, and then those paragraphs build to argue your thesis. So I'm going to kind of explain it using an example that directly applies to you guys' writing assignment of a struggle that I faced during my first year at CMC. So the thesis I'll be proving with my paragraph is that I used the resources around me and reassessed my own assumptions when feeling lost and out of place, and the result was gaining confidence and making the most out of my time at CMC. So the struggle that I kind of faced was feeling very out of place because I'm a very humanities-based person, but CMC can have a pretty heavy focus on econ and gov. So for the Axes model, A, assertion is kind of where you give your topic sentence and you give the point that will then build towards your thesis. So A for me is that reassessing my own assumptions and making an effort to keep an open mind allows me to work past self-inflicted obstacles. So then I move on to X, which is the example. So this should be proving my assertion. So my example is when I first arrived at CMC, I felt very lost and out of place because it seemed like everyone was applying to the Claremont Consulting Group or the Student Investment Fund, but I didn't have an interest in those things. While everyone around me seems to be gov or econ majors, I chose literature and history. So then I move on to E, my explanation. So examples can't speak for themselves. You have to provide clarifying facts to help give context to your example and to then tie it back into your assertion as well. So my explanation, would be, I took a minute to consider why I felt out of place. I then realized that my feelings were coming from being self-conscious and not from my peers. So my fears were largely unfounded. I realized that my peers, it felt like they were judging me, but they weren't actually judging me when I told them my majors. And so once I started to give them the benefit of the doubt and worked past my own assumptions, I was able to build more confidence in my decisions. So then the S, significance. So you kind of have to show why somebody should care through the significance. You're answering the question, so what? So this is where you really tie directly back to your thesis. So what is the point made in the paragraph in light of your thesis? So for me, the S is, as a result, I no longer feel self-conscious about my majors and have been able to chart my own path at CMC. I've gotten involved with the organizations that I really care about, such as the CWPD and ASCMC. And now I focus on the things that make me feel fulfilled and happy rather than being self-conscious about what my peers are doing. So now whenever I feel self-conscious, I take a minute to consider if my feelings are coming from other people or if they're coming from myself and creating self-imposed obstacles. So that's the Axes model, and it's applied to one of the struggles that I faced.
I think that was beautiful in so many regards, not just because it was a well-written paragraph, which it's kind of obvious that you're a head consultant at CWPD, but also the lessons that you learned. And I think that sort of reflection and doing that in a critical and almost intellectual and academic way allows for it to kind of be like this neat piece or like a tool in a toolbox for you to think through, you know, as you graduate from CMC and, you know, tackle life beyond it. And so, I mean, that's essentially the intention with us giving this writing assignment to the incoming students, is for them to know, you know, like, we're not invalidating the fact that you've lived 17 plus years outside of CMC, and there's a lot of strengths and lessons learned that you can take into, you know, your years at CMC and beyond. So Chandler, I appreciate you sharing that. And I appreciate you, Dini and Ben, as well, with sharing your experiences. Are there any final thoughts that you'd want to leave with any of the students before we wrap up this video?
Yeah, I would say that I know you guys have been thrown resource after resource, and trust me, that won't stop once you start at CMC, thankfully. But I hope you will consider Dini, Ben, and I to be just another resource, and we would love to hear from any of you about any concerns you have, including picking a major.
Yeah, the final thought for me is, at least in my experience, math, econ, computer science majors, they're hard, and they're supposed to be really hard, and there'll be times where you might struggle in them. I know I have failed multiple exams, and when I mean fail, like, I got like 60%, and just the moral of the story is it's okay. You'll recover even in those classes. I was still able to, you know, get an A- or get a B+ or whatever I wanted by working hard and working with the professor and so on. So don't let that difficulty scare you and turn you away.
Yeah, and I just add that, you know, at the end of the day, like, you have now become a part of CMC's family. So knowing that it will be a virtual family to start off with, and then hopefully we'll get to see you all in person, just like trust us, and, you know, we're here for you in the same way, in any way we can be.
Thanks to you all. Take care.
Bye.
Hopefully we can be in the same room, whether virtual or not, soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. See ya.